It slowly forced its way towards the light, desperate to escape from between his buttocks. What buttock?
Your butt! Your butt cheeks!
With one almighty groan, Ryan let the mega turd get what he wanted.
It plunged into the toilet and his bum got soaked from the giant splash. But he didn't care. It meant that the struggle was over.
Ryan's whole body breathed a sigh of relief. It felt as if the world had fallen out of his bum.
He was suddenly very, very tired. His poo emission had knocked it all out of him, quite literally.
Ryan flushed the chain without looking into the toilet, washed his hands and slumped into his room. He got changed into his pyjamas like a zombie collapsing onto the bed. If he had bothered to look in the toilet, he would not have gotten a wink of sleep that night.
Gross!
That is just bloody gross.
If he had bothered to look in the toilet, he would not have gotten a wink of sleep that night. Because what's in the toilet?
The world.
I bought the book on holiday, and as you can see, I've read it an awful lot, and I really, really love it. And if I could do more than 10 out of 10, I would.
The book is good for reading basically anytime, especially when you're on the toilet.
It's a really funny book. The chapters' names are really nice, and I like the title. It made me laugh.
Yeah.
It's a really funny book,
And it's got a reason behind it.
yeah, like
It's funny, but it's also...
it can be serious.
Yeah.
And it is about like a real message, but at the same time, you've added lots of humour.
It's like a real message turned into like a humorous story.
It's not like you're watching the news and they start saying all of it. There's funny parts. You can actually get interested in it, but also know all the reasons.
That's one of the reasons why it's good for kids.
Every chapter there's like sort of a cliffhanger on it, which I really enjoyed. Like once you read one chapter, you're gonna have to read another.
And who's your favourite character?
Josie, because the way she talks, it's just a really funny way, and I like how she doesn't say it properly, and it makes it quite funny.
My favorite character was Ryan, obviously, and I think my favorite part might have been the part at the end where he sees the chef with the teardrop earring.
The person who Ryan's mum worked for with the teardrop on the back of his head went from being inside his vision to being real life.
What do you think that might mean?
That it wasn't a vision.
At the end, like he winked at him almost. So, like,
When he walked away, he winked and had the teardrop on the back of his head.
So it kind of implied that Ryan already knew the chef.
Now that I think about it, yeah, actually, like he put the spices, extra special spices in, so that Ryan could
So it's
see.
kind of implying that Ryan
Yeah, like it
knew
all
the
builds
chef.
up to that.
Yeah.
He stuck his hand straight into the toilet and lifted the world up and out. Imagine if that was the actual world and he was like a giant so he could pick up the world.
The actual world.
And when Reggie put his head next to it, a giant dog's head had appeared in the sky outside. It is the real world.
Last week, Josie had eaten a whole fistful of worms. Ryan didn't think she had enjoyed them very much, but she had turned green, so green that she looked like Baby Yoda, but he was willing to bet his Vindaloo tasted even worse.
Josie took one look at the finger and sank her teeth into it. She was only a toddler, so she could be forgiven for thinking Steve's finger was a sausage.
You'd have done that.
I wouldn't. I'll bite the finger now.
What was your favourite bit?
I like the part where it was all just in Ryan's own head instead of actually being real.
I liked it when he was like discovering like when the water was in the toilet, he was opening and closing the lid. I thought it was like a really good part of it.
My favourite bit was probably at the very, very end when Ryan goes back home. He has a normal poo.
It was about 5 inches long, brown and squishy. Beautiful, he thought. And that thing I'm putting most of it was Gross.
Gross. What was your favourite bit?
When he like helped like with the fires and put ice back into like the North Pole and stuff.
That was good.
Yeah, and help with climate change and all that.
Yeah.
And when Steve betrays Ryan, like I thought that was a really clever thing to do. I was like shocked, like I could feel what Ryan felt.
My favourite bit was when he put all the carrots in South America, put the ice cubes in Antarctica and the North Pole, and then put the fires out in California, and it makes me think about that we don't care for our planet as much as Ryan does and his mum does in the book.
I think that it's a really good book because it kind of shows you that kids have really nice hearts as well, and they can help, because most people think, oh yeah, adults are the only ones who do stuff. Adults are the ones who volunteer.
And actually the adult was the one who told him, because Steve, he was the one messing up everything.
Yeah, because most people think that kids mess up everything, but we don't. We can help. Kids matter.
People say we need to stop climate change, but they don't actually do anything. I know, like, just like
we need to
Boris
stop
Johnson
climate
just
change.
goes, we need to do something about climate change, and then he doesn't.
In my class, we're all about the environment at the moment. It's also teaching people that the way we're treating it at the moment isn't great.
We have to be responsible, because I think in part of the book, did Ryan say like the humans had a responsibility, like we had done this?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said that, and I was just thinking, yeah, it is sort of our fault, isn't it? So if it's our fault, we need to fix it.
The fact that humans are like destroying things is sad, but we can still do something about it, and we can still save the planet.
Didn't he put them in certain places in Africa where it was drier?
Yeah.
Because he said near the top it was drier, so I put
Oh,
more
because
carrots
it
there.
was more near the equator, so we put in parts of Africa where it's more near the equator.
Yeah, he put more near the equator.
He was rudely interrupted by the sound in the real world. Ah!
The good thing is whenever it says hard words, then it explains, like Ryan was saying, oh, what's climate change? And then the mum explained what climate change was.
So it's telling you what the word means.
Yeah, so even though it may feel like Ryan was the one who didn't know what it meant, it helps you as well.
He pounded up the stairs 4 at a time and launched himself into the bathroom. I think he's counting up. 2 at a time, 2 at a time, 4 at a time.
You're right.
And launched him.
That's the fastest ever though, isn't it? If you've done 4 rather than 3 or 2.
What is he done?
If I wrote another one, would you buy a sequel?
Yes.
You're just saying that.
No.
I love to read as well, so I think the book's amazing. I think so far the book is amazing.
10 out of 10, 100%.
It's an awesome book, great to read. I had tons of fun reading it. Best book ever.
This is not what you should be doing with the real world, kids.
Last night it felt as if the world had fallen out of his bum. How could he have guessed that it actually did fall out of his bum? And that's chapter 2. So
Last night, he had felt as if the world had fallen out his bum. How could he have guessed that it actually had?
Did you know what's happened?
The whole planet fell out of his bum?
Yeah.
Oh, so out of
When he closes the toilet lid,
Yeah.
Ryan,
Yeah.
it goes dark.